How's it going, my truant people? Dr.Slaking, the Slacking Doctor, back for week 11 of the APA. This is the penultimate week, and the music in my headphones is way too loud. There we go. Yeah, back for the final or penultimate week of the APA Academy, and this week we're going up against my man Odds and his Memphis Bewears. Odds is a super nice guy. I didn't know him before this battle, but we got to talking afterwards and stuff. Really nice guy. Definitely would recommend checking out his channel. So yeah, above my head will be appearing a timestamp if you guys want to skip ahead. We're going to go through the team builder and all that good stuff like we normally do. But this week we are pretty much in dire need of a win. After our L last week, I still think it's out of our hands, basically. If we win both of our remaining 2 games, we might have a shot. But from my perspective now, at this point, I just want to try and enjoy the last 2 games because I don't feel like my play in the past couple of weeks has really warranted playoffs anyway. And certainly our early season play was better, even if we got a little bit unlucky at times. So there we go. That's kind of that out of the way. So moving into this team, I have to thank Stromful for mocking with me. I literally just threw together a team that was not supposed to be the final team. It was supposed to just be a load of fun sets, and they worked against Stromful at least, so I was like, sod it, let's just run this team. And basically, between me and Stromful, our games worked out where whoever got the hacks won, because of the style of this team. You'll understand when we get into it. So I knew going into this one that it was just going to be like, alright, well, let's see how RNG treats us. But, kicking it off then, my opponent's team should be appearing over there, I believe. No, over there? No, over there. Over there, I think. My opponent's team should be appearing. He has the Mega Charizard X, the Suicune, the Reuniclus, the Alola Muk, Delmise, Aselgor, Thundurus Incarnate, Togekiss, Gliscor, Persimmon, and Ferroseed. So, looking at his team, and the team that I've built, you're going to see a lot that Zard X was a huge problem. Second time I've faced Zard X this season. I am going to be recording a season recap video once our season eventually ends, whether that's at the end of the regular season or playoffs. I'm going to record a season recap to kind of talk about the format and everything else, how I feel and everything else. But yeah, second time I'm facing Zard X. And we have an even worse matchup than last time, especially the team I'm bringing. Had I brought like Slowbro or something, maybe it would have been slightly different, although Slowbro still isn't great against it. But yeah, we don't have much of a Zard X matchup with this team. So that was one of the major threats. Also got to be careful of like Calm Mind Reuniclus and Calm Mind Suicune, because both of those can be a massive threat. Double Dance Reuniclus, in fact, with like Acid Armor, Calm Mind, can be a threat if he gets rid of my Dark type. So I have to play carefully around that. Scarf Togekiss was a bit of a pain in mocks, but I can probably deal with that if it comes. So, without all that being said, let's look at the actual team I brought. So the first thing we decided to bring was Saving Light, the Mega Diancie. Stromful drafted this for us pretty early on in his draft. In fact, I think he drafted it round 1. And this is actually the first week we're bringing it, I think. We didn't bring it the other 2, which I think was a mistake. I think in both games, Mega Diancie had a role to play, and I just didn't bring it for whatever reason. And I have a lot of regrets about that, especially because one of the things about this draft that I was looking forward to most was using Mega Diancie. So regardless, you can see here we have just a Diamond Storm Moonblast Double Dance set with a little bit of bulk invested, a little bit of attack investment, and a negative defense nature, because basically we want to be able to hit on the physical side pretty hard for things like Calm Mind Suicune and stuff like that. But in theory, this set can either break or clean, depending on which setup I try to go for. Although on paper it looks like a Double Dance set, in reality it doesn't play like that. There's no desire for me to click both Calm Mind and Rock Polish here. I only need to click one depending on the situation. So if I think I can clean late game, I click Rock Polish. If I need to break his team, then I click Calm Mind, whichever way it goes. But I really only needed a dual stab to hit the whole of his team, I felt. So next up, second one on the team is a Fire EMZ Salazzle. EMEL is back. Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Taunt, Nasty Plot. Again, the setup on this means that I can really break through things like even a Calm Mind Suicune and stuff like that. If he, switches in hard on me, he can't Calm Mind up on me and stuff like that. Taunt means I can stop the Zard X for going for a Dragon Dance, because that thing can Dragon Dance on me potentially, and that is usually scary. I did consider being Poisonium Z on this set, but I decided to go with Firium because it was able to hit the Gliscor as well as everything else I needed to hit. The only thing it couldn't hit was a Suicune, but Suicune didn't really love +2 Sludge Waves anyway. So there was that, and I felt like my team could break Suicune relatively well in preps, whereas Gliscor I felt was a little bit more of a problem. So, yeah, I figured the Z-Firium was just better for that, because I did think a Spadef Gliscor would probably come to take on Thundy T. So yeah, next mon is Thundy T, Outbreaker, back. Exactly like I said, the reason I want to break that Gliscor is for this thing, because Zap Plate Thunderbolt just wrecks shop. The thing hits so damn hard. Even like +1 or I think it's +1 Spadef Suicune, max HP, still takes over 50%. It's still 2 KO'd easily by this thing. It's so damn strong. I mean, it's coming off base 145 special attack, for goodness sake. It's incredible Pokemon. Hidden Power Ice is just on there to bop that Gliscor. And once again, we have T-Wave to stop the Zard X from setting up on me. It's not ideal, certainly. But if I get it paralyzed, at least it can't, like, outspeed my whole team in theory. So that's something. Nasty Plot, again, to set up on something like Reuniclus that might try and set up on me otherwise. So I can set up a Calm Mind Reuniclus. Then next up, we have Hydreigon Rouge ones coming back. It's supposed to be Rogue ones, of course, but Rouge ones for us this season. This is a modest Hydreigon yet again, just like last week. Supposed to just really go in and break. With Substitute Dark Pulse, Flash Cannon, and Sub. I hesitated there because this is like literally the exact same set as we brought last week, minus one different move. We have T-Wave on this set for that Zard X. I could have gone with like Taunt, but obviously he can still get to +1 on me with Taunt, and that's all he needs. +1 sweeps me. So with that in mind, T-Wave was just better, because if I could T-Wave him, then I still crippled him pretty nicely. Dark Pulse and Flash Cannon hits the rest of his team. Really nice coverage for just a moderate Hydreigon, because the only thing that can really come in on Dark Pulse is things like Fighting types, which don't tend to be defensive, and Fairies, which don't like Flash Cannons. So that works really well there. Leftovers just for longevity, of course. Tornadus is just going to be here as our like main kind of like sweeper in the end game, I'm hoping, between that and Salazzle, but I feel like Salazzle will break more. With just Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Taunt, and U-Turn. Taunt again stops Zard from setting up on us. Hurricane bops those things if we land it with a Life Orb. U-Turn will really chip things down like an AV Reuniclus that would come in on me otherwise. And Taunt can, like I said, stop the Zard from setting up on me. So yeah, Sludge Wave hits the... what does Sludge Wave hit? Sludge Wave hits the... Togekiss that otherwise could be like a Spadef set to wall this. And we also, I should say, have Taunt on here. Also for the Alolan Muck, because Alolan Muck is a bit of a problem, so being able to taunt that with both Salazzle and this is quite nice. That's the other reason Salazzle was Z-Fire Blast, not just for Gliscor, but also for a potential like AV or Spadef Muck. And then the last one on the team this week is Odyssey Bronzong. I believe this is the first battle that we brought Bronzong to. We're really rocking a heat-proof set this week because everyone always expects Levitate anyway. And it means we might be able to take a Flare Bits from Zard from full relatively well with our investment. We don't have a ton of investment because we are max attack adamant. Because if we can get that Custap Berry Explosion off, that's our best way of dealing with Zard. We also have Toxic on here to be able to hit Zard, of course. And Toxic Endure into Explosion basically means that we get the Zard Toxics, we get a couple of turns of Toxic off guaranteed with Endure, then we guarantee our Custap Barrier and we explode and hopefully take it out, or whatever else we need to take out. So pretty cool set of just guaranteeing the Custap Barrier Explosion. Not many people will expect Endure at all on Bronzong, I don't think. I didn't know it got it, but it does, and I had to gen it very carefully to get it, because it can only get it as like one random TM in Gen 4, so it was a pretty weird set, but there we go. So that is the team. Hopefully it's going to work out. I apologise if this has been a little bit fragmented. This battle was played a little while ago. Fun fact for you, I'm actually recording this Sunday, the 2nd of June, the day that you guys are hopefully seeing it. So yeah, it was played a little while ago. My memory's a bit all over the place. So all that being said, guys, let's jump into the battle and see exactly how we got on. So here we are in the battle, guys, and as you can see, my opponent brought the Persimmon, the Charizard X, the Thundurus, the Reuniclus, the Suicune, and the Muck Alolan form. So this is the second time we're facing Reuniclus as well this season, I think, and the second time that we're facing Suicune for definite this season. So some threats that we've already had to prep for, and some threats that we need to be very careful of. Looking at my team, I'm very worried about that Persimmon. I didn't expect it to come because of things like the Slowbro, for example, being able to wall it essentially pretty well, and the Tangrowth not being too bad, certainly very physically bulky. But actually with the team that I did bring, Scarf Persimmon looks crazy scary. Yes, I have 3 resistances, but none of them are bulky, so fortunately it doesn't really affect endgame Rock Polish Diancie. So a team preview, I was like, actually Diancie can win after a Rock Polish, right? If I chip down the Reuniclus, then Diamond Storm will kill the Thundy, Diamond Storm will kill the Zard, Moonblast will kill the Persimmon. I've just got to chip down the other 3, the Muck, the Suicune, and the Reuniclus. But actually, that shouldn't be too hard to do with my special breakers in things like Torn, Thundy, and Hydreigon, as well as Salazzle, because those 3 mons all want to come in on those. So actually, his offensive mons aren't really the problem because of this HO team that I've brought. I should be able to break the defensive mons and then hopefully just clean up with a Rock Polish on Diancie, as long as I position things very carefully. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to lead off with Torn, because I feel like it leads very, very well against potential Scarf U-turn Persimmon, because I feel like he has to switch out fearing potential Scarf on my Torn. So I'm like, okay, because I could just straight up Oko this thing. It does so much. I think Hurricane does like 200% to a Persimmon. So like, yeah, I think he has to fear the Scarf if he leads with that, and he does indeed. And it also didn't give him any other free leads against me particularly. Quite nice, as it doesn't look like he has any hazards against me. But he actually does just stay in and go for the U-turn, which really, really surprised me, because I was like, I was sure he would hard switch here. I just went for the U-turn, expecting the Reuniclus to want to come out and be AV. Looking at his team, I thought that was the most likely AV Mon. I thought that in prep, like that was something I was really sure would be coming. So we get a fat U-turn off there, and as you can see, that does so much despite being a negative attack nature. It still does so much. So that's really, really nice chip for us. And if he's Magic Guard instead of Regenerator, then that's incredible. Now, if he is AV, I'm guessing he's going to be Regenerated, but we don't know at this point. So that's really, really nice chip. Here I go into my Hydreigon on the U-turn. I'm just going to go for the sub, expecting to see Muck come out, and I can just Flash Cannon, T-Wave, whatever, that thing down pretty nicely and just get some free chip. He has to try and break my sub, and as long as I don't give him his berry, then I can really kind of cripple that Muck pretty early on, and I still have a really good switch in. But because he goes to Suicune, I'm fearing him Calm Minding, and there's not much I can do with that. I'm actually just going to go hard Thunder here to stop him from going for the Calm Mind, where he reveals the Ice Beam, and this does so much, and this was a huge, huge misplay by me. I could have just T-Waved and crippled this thing anyway. At one Calm Mind, it wasn't going to do too much, and I guess he had to fear the taunt on my Hydreigon. So there, I feel like it's actually just a really free T-Wave for me. Here I click T-Bolt because I'm scared at this point. Again, I really think I should have clicked Nasty Plot, but I just went for the T-Bolt damage because I'm like, I'm scared. Like, this thing's worrying me. That did too much damage. I got a little bit rattled, so I go for T-Bolt again. And as you can see, this does quite a chunk to this Muck, but doesn't quite put it in range of his berry. So it's actually kind of nice that we didn't go for the Nasty Plot, because a +2 T-Bolt would have given it its berry, and probably put it back at a better range of health than what it's at right now, arguably. So that was pretty alright. I can still go into Salazzle, just as I said before. It's a pretty free switch. And here I'm just going to fire off the Nasty Plot. I don't think he's going to go hard Suicune. And I can just get a free Nasty Plot off here, which is really, really nice. The reason I don't think he'll go free hard Suicune is because I think he'll want to recycle and get his berry back on a Fire Blast to get him a better range of health. Or I think he might fear the Toxic, because this thing is Corrosion. I think he'd rather have his Muck Toxic than his Suicune, potentially, if it is a Calm Mindset. So now I can just go for the Fire Blast. I thought about going for the Z, but Fire Blast into Sludge Wave looks like it would KO the Suicune, so I was like, I'm just going to go for regular Fire Blast. Unfortunately, we miss, and here I think he's going to go for the Protect to scout for my Z, because he clicked a knockoff on me, and it revealed that I didn't have an item. I felt like he had to veer the Z, and if I was Z Sludge Wave, it looked like it might have a chance to KO him here, depending on his set. Certainly, it would be like, put him down so low that I felt pretty confident he would go for the Protect to scout for my Z. But he actually just goes straight for the Scald, and so this was just turned out to be like another misplay for me. I say misplay, but the problem with this team is, like, when you're running HO, you have to be aggressive, right? You have to be a little bit greedy. You have to kind of go for these plays. And this is maybe just me getting them wrong, like getting the decisions wrong, where I thought he would switch out with his Persimmon earlier and scout for my Scarf. I thought he would preserve his Suicune here and scout for my Z, and just these kind of plays that I'm predicting him to make, and he's not making at all. But this time, like, I get it right. I'm like, okay, he doesn't just give me a Suicune. He's going to go Muck, because he knows that this will give him his berry back. If I get to my Nasty Plot, now he can't get his berry back. And so now he just has to sack something. So it's like, alright, I've lost my Salazzle, which sucks. But I knew that even if I lost my Salazzle that turn, I could force this situation where I would guarantee a KO with Thunder, because he was never staying with the Suicune there. So that worked out just fine. Here he goes into the Persimmon, and I can't actually take this very well, but it looks like I can take two with my Tornadus, so I just go into Tornadus, expecting to be able to take 2 close combats. I do not take 2 close combats. I don't know what this set was, if it was adamant or what, but like, if I just miscalculated something, I still don't know why this happened, but like, the calc I was seeing was not this. Yeah, I'm guessing he must have been adamant or something, because I just took way more here than I expected. Unless I had my set imported wrong in the calc and I actually changed it to be a negative defense nature instead of a negative attack or something. I'm not sure, but that set just did way more, that move did way more than I expected, so that puts me in a super bad position. I still need to try and get chip on the Suicune. I still need to try and get chip on the Reuniclus if he's not Magic Guard. If he's Magic Guard, then we might be fine. We still look like we're in a great spot for Reuniclus in this endgame. So here I'm just going to get Rocks up because he hasn't got his Zard in yet, and he's going to take 50% on his Zard, which is amazing. I've got to preserve Odyssey because I feel like it's the way that I am going to be able to get some damage off, and I'm pretty sure I can take a Scold with Outbreaker, and if he goes for the Calm Mind, then we can threaten him a little bit there too. Whereas if I just stayed in with Bronzong, I was pretty much going to have to like endure boom plays, and I don't think it was going to do enough, especially if he had a rest on this thing, which I don't think he does, as he has Scald, Ice Beam, and Protect. So in fact, we know he doesn't have rest, but still, I felt like my best play was just to go instantly and get some damage off on this thing. As you can see, that Thunderbolt did so much. He's going to get some leftovers back, but he's pretty low. He's pretty low, which is really, really nice. I can set out Odyssey here and just go boom if I want to. And pretty much guarantee a KO, I believe. But I think I actually just go for the Toxic, realizing that he's not rest. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier, to be fair. Maybe I played this the wrong way around. I probably did. I'm not sure. Yeah, I probably did play this the wrong way around earlier. I mean, it's worth noting he did point out as well, if I had landed my Fire Blast earlier in the game, then, you know, he might have had enough chip from a +2 Fire Blast to have been in closer range to that T-Bolt or whatever, I'm not quite sure. Or I might have just been able to go into DyeItTight to revenge kill him instead of this. But anyway, here we just Toxic him, and we're going to pivot out into Rouge ones on what should definitely be a Scald. Basically just putting him on a timer. This is the best way. Oh, that's why I make the plays I make. So this is just basically the best way of me like preserving an endgame where I can get a Bronzong Explosion or Endure off on something crucial. I felt like that was more valuable than the Thunderous, which was pretty much going to lose to everything else on his team. So once this week, if I could deal with this weekend while keeping Bronzong alive and losing Thunderous, that seemed like a more valuable trade to me. Here I can just go for the sub because I know that I outspeed him. Or yeah, because I speed crept this thing, I'm pretty sure with my... Did I? I think I speed crept this thing with my Hydreigon, so I know I can outspeed him and I can just go for sub, and with my leftovers I'm going to be able to get enough subs up basically to make him die to poison damage or to put him in range of my Dark Pulse so I can KO him. So this weekend was definitely a threat, but we've managed to play around it pretty nicely, only really sacking the Thundy to it, and as I say, in this endgame, Thundy didn't really do too much. It could hit Reuniclus for maybe a good amount of damage with T-Bolt, but if he is AV Spadef, as I suspect, it wouldn't have done a whole ton of damage. Here I'm just going to keep going for sub in case he kind of makes a choke play and like switches out or something like that and gives me a free sub. That would be incredible. I don't think it's going to happen, mind you, but I may as well go for it. And my end game is still very much looking like Diancie. If that Reuniclus isn't Regenerator, if it is Magic Guard, he's got to come back in on rocks, and then Diamond Storm has a pretty good chance to KO him, I believe, if he is like a Spadef AV. If he's Fizdef AV, maybe not, but if he's a Spadef AV Reuniclus, or an offensive AV Reuniclus, or any Reuniclus set that doesn't have like Fizdef investment, and he's not regenerating his Magic Guard, then it's looking really like Diancie just wins this game at this point, which is fantastic. All I've got to do is try and position it carefully. I think that's right, because I think he's got the Persimmon left, the Thundy left, the Zard left, and the Reuniclus left. So yeah, that's right. So that's kind of how I'm looking at this game. I'm like, I think we've still got a great shot here. As he goes for the Sludge Wave, KOing our Hydreigon, and he doesn't reveal an item here, and he doesn't reveal a boosting item, so I'm like, okay, I don't think he's Double Scarf, but if he is Double Scarf, I can set up a Rock Polish on this thing. I don't see what else I ever set up a Rock Polish on, because I expect the Reuniclus has Flash Cannon. If it's like an AV set, like I'm expecting, I expect that this thing could have Flash Cannon too, but right now, if he is Scarf, he's not Scarfed into it, so it's pretty much now or never. So here I just go hard for the Rock Polish, and he reveals the Z, and I'm like, what is this Z? Like, is that it? Am I dead? What Z is this? I really don't know what Z this is. Is it Dragonium from like the way he did his hands and stuff? I was like, what even is that? But it's Acid Downpour, and I'm like, oh, okay. I think I'm gonna die, but I don't know. I do have a little bit of bulk, and obviously in negative defense nature, not Spadef nature, so we do actually tank that and get the Rock Polish off, and now I'm like, okay, I gotta do my calcs because this could be game. And I'm looking at his HP and I'm like, calcing Moonblast versus Diamond Storm, because bear in mind Diamond Storm can have a chance to miss. I think it's like a 5% chance to miss. And to me, it looks like unless I get an absolute min roll, which is like a 5% roll, then Moonblast kills. And so I'm like, I guess there's no difference. So I kind of make a choke play where I click Moonblast. And the reason that's a choke play is because if there's no difference between them normally, it's better to click the one that would KO even if he had bulk investment. So I'm assuming he has no bulk when I'm running those calcs. If he has any bulk, just because I assumed that he would need all of his speed to try and speed tie with my Torn. So I was like, yeah, I think he's going to be max speed, so I don't think he'll have any bulk. But if it's the same chance to miss as it is to KO with no bulk, I may as well go for the one that can miss, but would KO even if he's max bulk, right? But I don't actually, I go for Moonblast, but I can still get the roll if it's like a 95% chance roll to kill, right? So it's not the end of the world, it's a slight misplay. But as you can see, he does just narrowly live, and we spoke after the game, he did have bulk in this Thundy. So I think he had a very good chance of living that. I think it was more like a 50-50 or maybe even lower than that in his favor. He had quite a bit of bulk. So that was me basically running the calc going, oh, I guess there's no difference, and just clicking 1 and not thinking beyond that, not hesitating, going, well, is there still a better option between the two? Yes, there definitely was. I just rushed. Now, as it happens, he obviously is going to KO us here with a T-Bolt. And that is going to be GG. Bronzong can do something here, for sure, but it can't solo the rest of his team. Now, as it happens, had I Diamond Stormed, I would have KO'd if I had landed. But his Reuniclus was Fizz Def Regenerator. He was physically defensive with an Assault Vest, as we rightly predicted in prep. But he did have the Regenerator on there. So, regardless of my misplay there, all it really saved was differential, because my Diamond Storm would have KO'd this thing, then Reuniclus would have come out, Diamond Storm would have KO'd that. Diamond Storm would have put that low, then he would have Flash Cannoned me, and then he could have just infinitely switched his Reuniclus out, and I never could have beaten it with my Bronzong, so he always would have won the game eventually. I would have had to explode on this Zard, for example, eventually anyway, but because of that Toxic, we do actually KO the Thundy, which is pretty amazing, and he can come into Zard here and click Flare Bits and pretty safely assume to KO me, but because I have the Endure, I can try and preserve some differential here, and there's no reason for me not to. Like, it could still come down to differential for playoffs, so I may as well just try and preserve the differential here and go for the Explosion next turn. If he goes into Reuniclus to save differential, fair play. I've done everything I could to try and hang in this game, but we are just going to go for the Custap Berry Explosion here, as he does stay in, and I believe we lose 2-0? Was it 2-0 in the end? Did he have the Reuniclus and the Psimian left? I believe so. I believe we lose 2-0 in this game. So definitely some misplays for me for sure. Just my inexperience running a more offensive build kind of showed in some of the decisions I made, some poor decision making. And then a lazy calc at the end really cost me arguably another differential point. I'm not quite sure. Maybe not. But either way, we'd lost that game from pretty early on, actually. Once I let Torn take the 2 hits from the Psimian, and I then had no way of beating Psimian unless I got a Rock Polish off. And at that point, once I got a Rock Polish off, had to sweep the rest of his team. Yeah, we were in a bad spot. We were in a really, really bad spot. So GG to my opponent. I think I made some misplays. I think I brought some subpar prep. I think I should have been Poisonium Salazzle. I think I should have been less aggressive in the early game. It really put me in the back in the end game. But that takes nothing away from his performance. He deserved the win. So yeah, GG to my man Odds. Definitely go check out his side of the battle if you can, guys. Next week we go up against Root, someone who I've been a subscriber to for a long while now, actually. So I'm really, really excited to see us battling on his channel. We have, depending on how other results go this week and how other results go next week, if I like 6-0 Root and people like Itz lose like 5-0, 6-0, we can make playoffs. But it really depends on like other results at this point. And I have to win by huge differential against Root, who's already locked for playoffs, so he's already a very top player. So, in essence, we're out of playoffs, if I'm honest. This L put us out of playoffs. We were probably out anyway, but this L really put us out of playoffs. Like I say, I'm disappointed with how I've played since week 6, maybe. But I'll be talking about that in a draft, in a season recap video, which will come out at a later date. So, regardless, thank you for all your support so far this season, and please do check out the last battle still. It will be a good game against Root, I can guarantee that. But yeah, thank you so much for living around with me, guys, and I'll catch you again next time.